Hello, and welcome back to day 14 of Popcornween. And boy, oh boy, did my last video do exactly what I wanted it to. Ticked off some nerds. Somehow they missed the part where I blatantly said I'm gonna do anything I can to beat Semper. You are not gonna like the lengths I go to make sure I win. Because I refuse to live in a world or a reality where he gets more views than me. Things like a clickbait title. I mean, I did think the movie was frickin' boring, but I knew that would tick off some of the die-hard fans of Ari, whatever the hell his last name is. And we all know what his fan base is. And hook, line, and sinker, boy did these nerds fall for it. Even though I conceded that it was not a bad movie. It really works for a certain type of crowd. You know, that crowd that likes, full male nudity and, women hating men. Those people. And again, I'm sorry that, I was bored and I didn't think the big reveal made up for that pacing of the whole movie. I kind of hated every character in the movie. But hey, to each their own. Maybe I'm just a big dumb idiot.
I am the king of the mountaintop. I reign supreme over everyone. I am the golden god of this place. I reign supreme.
But with that being said, the movie we're covering tonight is the exact opposite of Hereditary. And to Hereditary's credit, it kind of went away from what became a cliche in like every horror movie in the last 10 years. Still didn't like it, but it's good to see something different. To fully understand it, you gotta go back to the early 2000s and what those horror movies were like, which for the most part kind of fell into two camps. Camp number one, with movies like Hostel and Saw, were just pretty much gory murder torture porn. Pretty much sums it up. The first Saw movie had some twists and turns that were pretty cool, but again, it was just pretty much torture porn. Hostel didn't even have twists and turns. It was just a straight up murder torture fest. But the movies did well and they just kept making sequels. The next camp went more into the supernatural, unstoppable killing spirits or ghosts. Just basically if you fell upon these things, you were kind of doomed. The why in a lot of these movies are never really fleshed out too well. Basically, somebody gets killed and comes back as an angry ghost for, reasons. Getting rid of Ring's ghost monster was kind of stupid, but it did have some really inventive, cool scenes. Things you haven't seen before. The Grudge had some cool things going for it, and the story was kind of weak, and I think this was the part that everybody kind of, checked out. Now, what those movies lacked in maybe story and special effects, they made up for it with jump scares. That's right, the success of these movies made sure that little technique would be used for every single scary movie moving forward. Fast forwarding to the 2010s, and it seemed like this genre of jump scare movies was the only way to have a successful movie. Films like The Conjuring, Annabelle, the reboot of the Exorcism movies, and of course, tonight's movie we're talking about, Insidious. Movie after movie about a ghost or a demon or a weird little doll. And jump scare after jump scare after jump scare, we got a movie. But enough of the backstory, let's get into the actual movie. 2010's Insidious. Written by Lee Winnell and directed by James Wan, Insidious, with just a budget of $1.5 million, was able to rake in $100 million worldwide, making it a huge success and demanding that there be a sequel. Our story starts off years ago with little Josh Lambert sleeping in his bed, but Josh doesn't appear to be alone because there's a scary old woman in the corner. Remember that for later. Jump ahead to current time, 2010 current time. Josh Lambert, played by Patrick Wilson, is moving his family into a new house with his wife, Renee, played by Rose Byrne, and their 3 children, Dalton, Foster, and Baby, whose real names I'm not gonna go look up. As the family gets settled into their new home, right away they notice things aren't what they should be. Everything ramps up as little Dalton falls off a ladder after seeing something scary, and even though he seemed fine, he doesn't wake up the next day. Thinking it's from his head injury, the Lamberts rush their son to the hospital. But doctors say it's not from the fall, and they don't really know why he's not waking up. Cut to 3 months later, and little Dalton is still a little vegetable, but now he's at home. But the financial strain of taking care of their little potato has really hurt the family, as if enough hasn't happened to these poor people. Strange events and what can only be described as ghosts are now plaguing the family. While Josh hasn't really seen the haunting for himself, he finally gives in and realizes whatever's going on, it's not safe for his family. So he packs his family up and does what usually you never see in an actual horror movie. They actually leave. They get to the new place and Josh's mother decides to help. But before long, they realize that their problems have followed them to the new house. Renee gets freaked out and calls for a priest. As Josh is about to dismiss his wife's weird supernatural calls to all these problems, his mother spills the beans. Not only is it real, she's seen the thing that has her son. And a Darth Maul jump scare later, they realize they need help. Josh's mother actually knows somebody that specializes in ghost hunting and calls them up. And before long, the team finds the evidence they need to call in the big guns. The old lady from all the Farley Brothers movies. And she immediately sees the Darth Maul looking demon. She then explains what happened to their son. Apparently, their family has the most dog shit superpower ever created. They can do something called astro project. Pretty much their soul leaves their body and goes to a weird hell dimension every time they go to sleep. Wow, what a wonderful gift. I guess the hell dimension is better than accidentally floating into your parents' room and watching them go at it. Something like that could traumatize a kid. You know, not like a demon wearing your body as a fucking meat suit. So now the demon's got him and something needs to be done. It's then we get our big reveal. Dalton's not the only one that can go into this hell dimension. He actually got the ability from his father, Josh. It's then his mother reveals that her and the old lady actually had to deal with the same kind of problem that Dalton's going through now. They show him pictures of when he was a kid and how this old lady, yep, the one from the beginning, was haunting him and was getting closer and closer in each picture. So to save little Josh, they made him forget everything with hypnotism or some other nonsense. So it's up to Josh to go into the hell dimension and find his young son. Will he find him? Will he also get lost in there? Will he get jump scared to death? You're gonna have to find out on your own. Just kidding. I already ruined too much of this movie not to just blatantly tell you the ending. I usually try to leave that up to you and go watch it on your own, but I've already given away so much and there's stuff I want to talk about that I can't do without telling you the ending. So Josh enters the hell world and starts to search for his son. This is double hard because he was forced to forget everything when he was a kid, so he doesn't know how to naturally go through these places probably like his son does. I mean, it's just really dark rooms with a fog machine, but it's actually pretty unnerving and they did a pretty good job with such a small budget. And about a half dozen jump scares later, he makes it to the demon lair. And this part was a gripe for a lot of people. I mean, this lair kind of sucks. It's way less creepy than the place that he just left. And again, the lame Darth Maul looking demon is the one capturing him, and he looks more like Rumpelstiltskin in this part of the movie. I swear, if I read something that was actually the real demon and that's his real name, I'm gonna lose my shit. But as you guessed it, Josh frees his son and then it's a race to get back to their door to get back to reality. He gets his son to the door and just like any sane person, he decides to turn back and yell at the old lady ghost that's been haunting him since he was a child. The old lady floats away and it looks like Josh made it back just in time. But this is a horror movie and we can't just let things end. So the old woman has her suspicions, takes a picture of Josh, and realizes the old lady's in his body. So of course the old lady ghost jump scare kills the old woman. Renee walks into the room, sees the dead body, and looks at the camera and sees the picture. And of course that's right when Josh puts her hands on her shoulder and roll credits. So that's it in a nutshell. It leaves it open for a second movie, of course. And spoiler alert, the second movie caused some controversy. Well, recent controversy, because this wasn't a thing back then, that the big bad is a guy in a dress. And of course, you're not allowed to call those people crazy. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's not breaking the mold. It really is, again, jump scare the movie, just like a bunch of them around this time. It really doesn't make a lot of sense, and the main villain is kind of lame. But it has enough going for it that it's worth a watch, especially during Halloween season. I can hear the nerds now. Oh, he likes this dumb movie, but he didn't like Hereditary. Yup, that's what just happened. Deal with it. Scare you next time.